Hey folks, Martin Vaver, Galaxy Sailor Productions. Last week's episode was starting to turn into a bit of a rant and a complaining session, so I decided to scrap it and come up with a better episode that was going to be more informative and try to touch on some really good points that I think are important about a particular subject of filmmaking. I'm also going to include several links and some different pieces of information for you along with this episode. I'm also going to have some downloads if you want to have those available to you. So I do want to explain that in this episode, a lot of what you are going to get is opinion, but I'm going to try to back up that opinion with some experience and some knowledge, and I'm also going to have supplemental material to be able to go along with this. So you're wanting to get into this, or you're kind of already into it. The very first question I think you should ask yourself is why? And really come at it from less of a surface area. Well, I just really like these things, or I like this film. The reason I ask is if you've done some film and television work for a while, if you've been on a bunch of sets, you know how crazy the hours can be, how low the pay that can be, how difficult it can be to get a project done. So if you're wanting to actually get into this as a job, as a career, as a passion, then why? Really dig down deep and ask yourself that. I've asked myself that. I ask myself that all the time. Why am I doing this? I had another career, I had another life, and I gave all of that stuff up. I gave up secure pay, I gave up health insurance, I gave up all of that stuff to be able to do this right here. The reason this question is so important is because you have to put in the time. I'm sorry, but there is no shortcut into any of this stuff. If you know that story about like, oh, I had this buddy who worked in the mailroom at Warner Brothers, he took my script and then the next thing you know, we were wheeling and dealing and then we got our film made. That story is a fabrication. It doesn't exist. There is no one that got the elevator straight to the top. And I'm sorry, if you're not creating and producing and getting stuff out there, you're not in the game. You're on the periphery. So let's say you are doing this as a career. You are getting into film and television work, some kind of production in that format. Grip department, camera department, writer, director, producer, actor. You've made this decision. You found that in your heart, this is deeply passionate to you and you want to get into it. Okay, great. You've made that decision. You've distinguished your place from wanting to be a hobbyist to wanting to be a professional with that. So now you have to do things. You have to be able to get out and do something, anything. Background, PA, working in those departments as the person who charges the batteries, delivers the media, does the paperwork. I'm gonna stress this multiple times over. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the time. You have to create a portfolio. You have to create a resume. No matter what stage you are in any of this, execution is the utmost of importance. Being able to go from beginning, middle, and end through the process is going to be the one consistent calling card that you will always have throughout all of this. If anybody is going to look at anything you have done, they're going to look at the execution. I've almost gotten to the point where I don't even care about whether or not people know about a script or a story or an idea or anything like that, because they're probably not going to execute it. Most of the people that I outdo, it's because I simply just got to it before them. I did it before them. I beat them to the punch. I was able to finish my project and have it out. No matter what, for good or for bad, you will never be able to fault the process of execution, being able to see something through. Ultimately, this is an industry and a business of trust. People are going to trust you with a little bit of money, with a lot of money, to be able to get things done on time, on a budget, on schedule. Some things that you should do to be able to start building your resume or a portfolio or anything like that. Start writing. If you want to write, start writing. Be a writer. Write anything. Write 1 or 2 pages. Stash them away. Write a feature script, but don't worry about where it's going to go or how it's going to end. Just see if you can pound out 90 pages. Just pound out 90 pages and just have them done. Don't even worry about them. Worry nothing about that thing actually being sold or seen or made or anything like that. Just pound out 90 pages and see what it feels like. Create random little scenes of anything. Again, these don't have to go anywhere, but they are exercises that are getting you through from one page to the last page, from one scene to the next scene, from one character to the next, through feeling, through tone, through any of the things that might be on a film or a television show. Go shoot some films. You've got a phone. Go shoot some stuff and go and see what it's like. Shoot a couple of clips. Your phone does 1080p. It can do slow motion. So go and do some stuff and just put them together. You can get editing software for free, but you feel the execution and you go through the process and you know what it feels like. Make yourself feel that process and get it done. So the third thing that I would encourage you to do is go be on other people's sets. If you're a person who's wanting to produce and direct your own content, write your own content, you're wanting to be a sole creator, go and see other people and how they're doing it. You can keep yourself from reinventing the wheel so many times over by watching other people. Their failures become your success. It's one of the main reasons that I got into actually doing my company and finding my own commercial work. I was watching people make really terrible decisions and I was executing those terrible decisions and I wasn't getting paid for them. When I realized that I could go out and go make really bad mistakes and not pay myself was the day that I took charge of all of that. But seeing people that are successful on their sets is a huge asset. Watching how they execute a script, how they execute a lighting plan, how they execute any type of camera movements, learning how to be able to place your actors. Another aspect of other people's sets and watching them be successful is to watch movies. But don't just watch movies, take notes on those movies. Why is this working for you? Why is that not working for you? Feel how the whole thing goes through and take notes on how it is that you feel. Maybe watch it with a friend or a significant other and see how they're reacting and ask them, why does that feel good? Why is that funny? Note where the light is or where a person is standing, or look at some of the aspects in the room that you're not immediately being drawn to. A lot of times I'll actually watch a movie that I've seen over and over again and I will follow along with the script and I'll make notes on the script and tell myself, this is why I felt this. This is why I'm seeing these things. See how the script goes along with what you're actually seeing on screen and why it is that the script and what you see on screen are actually working. That can go into notes for your own script so that you know the kind of things that you are trying to bring about for emotions or feelings or the mood and the tone that you're trying to evoke. And that helps your actors and the other people realize what it is that you're trying to get out of it too. Now again, I want to re-emphasize, this is my opinion, and I'm trying to root some of this in as much fact as I possibly can, or at least put in some kind of a good argument as to why I feel that you should be doing this. Because my fourth point is, you need to go be a PA on a big project, as big as you can. I bring this up because in my own personal life and my own personal feelings, I didn't want to. I had been producing and directing some commercial content for quite a while, and I was very hesitant on the idea of going out and being a PA. But on the recommendation of someone that I highly regard, they said, go be a PA, go do this thing. So I spent season 5 working on Grimm. It's one of the best things that I've ever done. Seeing how they spend millions of dollars every 8 days in the execution of a watched national show that has syndication and plays in Europe was a huge deal. Interacting with the cast and the crew, being able to be on set and watching some of the most talented people that I've ever seen in my life. One of the best experiences that I ever had was simply being with the script supervisor. This person had more knowledge than anyone and anything else that I have seen on any set anywhere so far. Being a PA on set also helps you to learn how to interact with people. I know you're probably going to scoff at that idea, but there are plenty of us that don't know how to interact with people. You will learn tolerance, you will learn patience, you will learn how to dig down deep and go and find things or solve problems and do any number of different tasks that you didn't even know you were going to have to do. The things that you will build in your interpersonal relationships as being a PA will be able to last you a lifetime as well as a career in film and television. My fifth point is, I believe that everybody should be writing or putting pen and pencil to paper in some way. Some people want to be writers, and you're probably already going through all of the writing you need to do. If you want to write and you're not writing, then you're not a writer. If you want to become a writer, especially for television, you've got to have a huge quiver full of stuff. You really need to be writing and getting a lot of writing done. So if you want to be a writer, then you better write and get to writing, because you got a lot of writing to do and a lot of people to get ahead of who are way ahead of you who do a lot of writing. But I think anybody should be doing some kind of writing, even if it's creating a storyboard or working out a lighting scheme or coming up with story ideas, anything like that. I think you should be even keeping a journal if you are in any department whatsoever. Keep a journal, keep a written activity of ideas that you like, things that you have seen, things that you want to execute and try yourself. Keep writing and keep those ideas flowing, and always have a way of putting them down somewhere on paper. Number 6 is kind of an important one to me. This is a very personal one, and it's one that I've come to on my own decision for me. So this is based completely on opinion. I think you should decide if you are a film maker or a film critic. Because I think if you start going down the road of being very critical of films, especially being very open about your criticism and publishing it and posting it, you can start to become very jaded about the process. That's not to say that you're not accurate or that your interpretations aren't correct, but I think as you begin to form a criticism and a dialogue on criticism and a voice as a critic, whether it's very technical or artistic or snarky or whatever road you go down with that, you begin to formulate a person and a character and a voice of criticism that is not based on execution. If you want to be in film, you should be networking all the time, networking with other filmmakers, networking with brands, networking with studios, networking with producers. You should be out there networking. You should always be out there networking and connecting. Know what's going on in your industry, your community, and what's happening in the greater industry out there. With that networking, you should also be paying attention to the trades. The Hollywood Reporter and Variety are a really good thing to be watching out for. See who is in what movie and what script sold and what book is being adapted and what director is doing this, or what's happening in the technology world with the newest cameras or the newest virtual reality systems, or how are video games integrating into film, and what is television doing to attract new audiences? How are the new aspects of streaming going into the old aspects of watching things on a screen? Being able to follow those trades and know what is going on at an industry level that is beyond you is key to being able to see where it is that you want to be and where you want to go. And my final thought is, question everything and rely on no one. I really don't care who you know. Honestly, I don't. That is one of the most harsh realities I've learned of all of this stuff. There were several people that were connected to this and that I knew through some relationship that I've made through film. When the time came for me to put a project out there that I was hoping would get eyeballs on it, suddenly it was an abyss. All of these other people, executives, directors, producers, actors, no matter what the facade is that they've put up, they are all scrambling for their next gig. They are all hoping the next budget comes through. They are all hoping that something doesn't happen to their show or their film where things suddenly get all disbanded and spread out all over the place. It happens every day. There are constantly projects that have been in development hell that get broken apart, separated, shelved, flushed, whatever. It goes away so very quickly. So all of these people, no matter what front they are putting up, are all worried about where their next gig is. They're all worried about what project they are going to be attached to next. Don't depend on them to do things for you. Do it yourself. Make things happen. Make a project get started. Make a project get done. Make a project get distribution. Get it online. Do whatever it takes, but don't rely on other people. Question all of it. Don't take things for face value. If you feel that you want to do something as a director, do it. Make that decision. And if you don't like how the decision turned out in the end, then don't do it again. Learn from that. Trust in your gut. Trust in your questioning. Trust in your ideas that you have, and make those things happen. And then see how they do and don't work, and then move on. Now, when I say it all relies on you, I'm clearly not saying that you can just disavow every other relationship that you have on a crew. But you are your best advocate. So don't ever believe that someone else is going to have more enthusiasm for you than you do for yourself. So those are the 8 points that I think are really important to being able to be in a career of film and television and be surviving and keeping your head above water and moving in a direction where this is a career and you are making money in it, as well as keeping your artistic integrity intact as much as you possibly can. Remember, there are people who are way above you who have been at this a lot longer, and they're having to make compromises and they're having to make decisions all the time about the type of work and the type of art that they put out there. The surest way of that to happen is for you to execute what you do and to get it out there and to be the best advocate for yourself that you possibly can. I'm going to have these 8 points in the show notes down below. I'm going to have some links to some really good articles that other people have written about film set etiquette and some really good career goals on there. I'm also going to include some links in here for things like personal contracts, something that you can be able to use. You can put your company on it, you can put your logo on it. It doesn't matter, they're boilerplate, but they are things that you should be using to protect yourself as you go forward with things, whether it's your company, yourself as a freelancer, anything like that. Again, you can check out all my social media stuff. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I got rid of my Snapchat because it's not really working for me. It's not really a thing that I do. I'm doing lots of live videos on Facebook as updates to what's happening with projects and people and when I'm going to have the next episode out. I really want people to be able to interact a lot more too. So give me ideas on what you think this show should be about, things that I can talk about. If you're interested on coming on, I would love to be able to have people on here. I want to hear about other people's projects and be able to talk about them as well. So please feel free to reach out to me, and I will see you guys all next week.